Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash-flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Peterson.
All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great week, a great day, whatever day it is for you and wherever you are. As always, it's Friday on the podcast, so we're bringing that good Friday energy to you. This is going to be a good episode. We got Sree Varma with us here on the show from Varma Properties Group. He is actually over across the seas over in the UK, so bringing that international vibe to this. He does student apartments. So he buys properties, converts them into 10 beds. I'm going to stop there because I want to hear from his mouth his actual strategy. But that's the gist of it. He also has a background in sports, in Formula One. So a lot to go into here, Sree. I'm super excited to jump into it. Thanks for hopping on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always like to start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us to the beginning of your story in real estate? I know you kind of already told me before the show, but let's go back to the beginning. Let's get into detail. Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll try to make it short, but it's a typical immigrant family. So I'm from an immigrant family from India. We came with 150 pounds in their pocket, my parents' pocket, and then we survived for a few months with that sort of thing. And I was always driven to just come out of that to be successful. And then I did my MBA. When I was doing MBA, I was also trying to do side hustles to pay for my university fee. So when my friends were partying, I was actually trying to sell my mates' parents the secondhand clothes and this and sort of things. That sort of things. So I was trying to pay my bills, and also at that time the website, the internet was just picking up, and so I started learning how to code and create websites and things like that. So I was trying to sell websites to the local establishments like the restaurants and shops, etc. So I was trying to have a lot of side hustles to pay.
Do it all, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I did my MBA, and then I started working for different corporate companies and organizations, and I ended up in a Formula One media business, and I was the commercial director for a few years, and then running for a few years, and then left and started my own sport business, a private network called iSport Connect, which is now the world's largest private network for sport business professionals from US, UK to Europe to Asia. We got 26,000 C-level to mid-level executives in sport, and it was flying. And then COVID happened, and during COVID, it's a service-based business. It was really hard hit by not just my business, a lot of business in the sport industry, and that opened my eyes because I had a lot of time, and I was looking at what if another COVID happens? What I need to have, I need to make sure I have a future-proof businesses and things like that. So I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. And start talking to other property developers, watching YouTube videos, and listening to podcasts like yours, and realize that it's good to also have a asset-backed business as well, so that it will feed you even in the good times and bad times. So I got into properties in 2021. And 2023 onwards, it became a serious business. But the first 2 years, I was trying to learn. So what I do is I do very much a BRR strategy, which is buy below market value, add value, and then refinance at the end, take the money out, and then go again and again. I use investor finance. So at the beginning, I used my money, so you can only go so far with your own money. So I started raising money. So we now have 35 retail investors, mainly from my industry, which is sport. So there's a lot of wealthy people in the industry. They, if they put the money in the bank account, they don't get much interest or returns. So we obviously they invest in our business, and we use that investment to buy properties under below market value, and then we convert them into student apartments in place called Guildford at the moment. It's there's the University of Surrey, which has 18,000 students, and we create really premium student apartments with the Netflix and Spotify, cleaning, just a gym in the back garden, and it's almost like a hotel. The way we run it, so we have pizza and beer nights. We have a private WhatsApp group for them. We have like a growth meet because a lot of our students, so we have once in a while we get together with them, etc. So we're creating a co-living brand for them to feel they are part of a community. So we've been running that, and so that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. And our plan is to hit 100 million portfolio in 5 years' time. So there's the 5-year strategy to achieve that.
Nice, man. I love it. So, a lot of questions pop into my mind. The first one that kind of gets me interested is why student apartments. So you got into real estate in 2021, and usually people start in long-term rentals, and they go to multifamily, and then they kind of branch out from there. Student housing is a very unique, a very niche product. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity there, but I'm curious what kind of brought you to want to get into that niche.
So I started with other strategies, the long-term buy-to-lets and things like that. And then obviously in the UK market, there's a few government changes and suddenly the interest rate gone off the roof and things like that. So the sort of typical buy-to-lets didn't working for many of us. And then I thought, okay, and I live in Wimbledon, which is not far from Guildford, where this university is. And I started exploring other strategies, and then I realized there is an amazing opportunity here if I focus on student apartments, because you're not just depending on one, from one apartment, not just from one income. You have 10 tenants in one apartment, and then you have 10 rents coming, etc. So you have much better return and much better cash flow compared to the single buy-to-lets and things like that. So that's why I thought of changing my strategy. To be honest, the government policies forced me to change the strategies, and actually, I don't. I'm enjoying it because
no regrets.
No regrets.
There you go. Nice. So, let's dig a little bit further into the strategy itself. Student housing. Obviously, you're aiming at students, so you're geo focused. You want to be very close to universities, to community college, places where students are, obviously. So where are you looking for? Like, how far away from a university do you search? What type of properties are you looking for?
Before COVID, people used to happy to walk and take public transport, etc. At least in the UK towns, it's become a bit lazy. They like to
not only in the UK, don't worry about it.
So they like to be as close as possible to where they get to, whether university or college. So we created we have a map in our office where that's our sort of area where we are looking to buy, as always. And then we work with a couple of the local agents. We build our own brand. We have YouTube accounts. We put our brand in all of our projects, so we are visible. So we work closely with the local estate agents. So they always come to us now because we buy using cash. So they know we can complete within 28 days, within a month. Usually the property transaction in the UK is very slow, so like 3 to 4 months. And these agents need to get commission from the sales to all of that, and they know I'm very quick in these transactions using cash. So people come to me now saying we got an opportunity before we put on the open market. We want to see if you like to buy. So they always come to us. So we work with the estate agents. We work with probate agencies when people pass away, then their families want to get rid of those properties, and then we work with the repossession agencies. So there are a lot of banks and building institutions, societies, when they repossess the properties, they give to these agencies. They come to us. So I build on the sort of 3D strategy, depth, and divorce, and also, like I said, with the good relationship with the local agents to get there. So without me going in the market looking for properties, now I am getting people coming to me. But one, because I'm a cash buyer. Second, I have a brand reputation now, and third, we have this visibility of a brand around that area. So that's how we.
So a lot of networking to find the deals. In terms of your criteria, I mean, you mentioned 10 beds earlier. Where I live, there are almost zero houses that come with 10 beds. It's just not a thing. So that means you have to do some type of construction to these houses to take that capacity. What are you looking for the footprint, and what do you have to do to it to fit your strategy?
Yeah. So what we do is in the UK, we call different class systems. So you have a C3 class, which is the residential, where the houses where we live. The co-living HMOs, we call them, they are C4. So what I do is I look for C3, which is the residential homes with minimum 100 square meter, with the opportunity to go to the back or side, and also we call the loft, and convert the loft. So for that, you don't need planning. So planning takes ages in the UK. It's very slow. So I want to do this. We are trying to do 20 projects a year. So that means we want to finish 10 projects every 6 months. So for that reason, we have to do everything under something called permitted development. If we have permitted development criteria, you don't need planning. Everything can be done without asking for permission. Mm-hmm. So if you go up to 3 square meters to the back or to the side or go into the loft, you don't need planning. So I stick to that sort of criteria, and I look for those sort of properties, and then we just, straight to it. I don't even go and view the properties. I get my architect and planning consultant to go and see them, because there's no point me going first and thinking, I'm guessing all the works, whereas I get my experts. I call them my power team. I use my power team for different decisions, and then I take the credit, but it's all the people behind me. So the main criteria is to make sure we can do everything under permitted development, so we don't need planning to convert into this 3-bed house. Usually comes with a massive reception in the front. We convert that into one of the bedrooms. All the rooms have en suites, so we also make sure they are big size houses, big rooms. So what we do is we look for a big reception, and then we convert that into an ensuite, bedroom with the ensuite in the front. Then you got the kitchen and dining room as a big open lounge kitchen. And then we go to the back to have 2 bedrooms, again with ensuite. So you have three bedrooms in ground floor. Then in the first floor, we reconfigure the 3 bedrooms to have en suites as well. So you have another 3. So now we have 6. Then we go to the loft, and there we try to have 2 in the back and 1 in the front, so that you get 9. And then we try to squeeze in another one in the side of the ground floor as well sometimes. So not always we get 10, but we try to get between 8 and 10.
So it sounds like you're probably not taking it down to the studs, but you're definitely doing a lot of reconfiguration within the walls.
Yeah. People love that, because they see the before and after, those floor plans. And
I was going to say, it's good for the Instagram.
It's brilliant, because we usually show the first, when I present, I get invited to speak at events, etc. And then I actually put this first floor plan on the big screen before floor plan and say, this is a 3-bed house, and we converted this into, 8, 9, or 10. So, how? It's just, and then we start showing all of this, and I can see this excitement in people's faces. And that's the excitement I have as well when we do that.
Yeah. So you got 10 individual units in there. So what's the square footage of one unit?
We try to have minimum 10 square meter.
10 square meters. So it's like 100 square feet, 100 and I don't know how to do that conversion.
Yeah, around that. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. I was going to say, when I was in college, I lived basically in a closet, and so you don't need much.
I had half of that. I was sharing with that other mate.
There you go.
So So, and also we give, like I said, TV in every room. We have really high spec beds, mattresses, the laptop desk, the wardrobe, the chest of drawers, mirror.
So it's fully furnished. That was going to be my next question. Yep. Okay.
Fully furnished.
And
We get Netflix, Spotify. We have cleaning. We have, like I said, we now started having gym in the back garden, because in the UK we have this long back garden, so which is underutilized, and kids, they don't use the garden; we just sit in there. So we thought, how can we optimize that space? And then and also a lot of them wants to do, go to gym, and they all care about their wellness and health. And so we thought, okay, why don't we add value by creating a gym in the back garden, so they can go and so we divide that gym into sort of two. One is where people can do the weights and everything else. The other one is almost like a yoga area if they want to do meditations or yoga and things like that. So yeah,
nice, very cool. And you also mentioned, you guys are also throwing events at these locations. So there's an additional layer of amenities that you're putting on top of just the structure itself. What additional type of coordination, your team, like how big are you building your team in order to take that on?
Yes. So not just the events, but the overall idea is to, like I said, have this 100 million vision, the 5 years. So to achieve that, I divide that into 12 months and then 6 months, sort of target. So 5 years, 100 million, that means 20 million per 12 months. That means 6 months. I need to do 10 projects. So, just I'm making it simple, simplifying this. In order to achieve that, I need to have, what I did is I divide the team into three. One is the acquisition stage, the other one is the construction stage, and the third is the asset management stage. Acquisition stage, I have an operations manager, Steph, and myself, and then a third guy who look after the investors. So what we do is we look for the right, mainly I'm the one who's doing that, looking for the right deal, and then looking for investments, which my Hugo, my colleague, he managed the relationship with the retail investors, and Steph is the operations manager, making sure we are doing all the legal works, the paperwork, everything else, the tech stack, and all of that. And once it goes through the acquisition stage and everything is ready, the legals are done, we got the keys, then straight away we pass it to, we have 4 project managers. So each of them sort of manage 5 projects each. So we have 20 projects that way. So they look after that process. Their role is to make sure we deliver on time, with the quality, within the budget, which is the most important thing. And they manage that, and they report to me. And again, Steph, the operation manager, is obviously managing all of that for me as well throughout those 3 stages. But each stage have different key personnel who are looking after those projects. So once the construction is done, these 4 project managers then they pass it to the next team, which is the asset management team, which is a guy called Tom. Him and there's a lady called Caitlin. They're then looking for tenants, compliance certificates, because these co-living apartments in the UK, we have a lot of legal compliance that we have to have fire systems, smoke alarms, emergency lighting, fire strip doors. It's like a hotel. We have very strict compliance and rules here. So we need to make sure we have all of that in place. We have the gas certificate, we have electricity certificate, we have the fire system, fire certificate, all of those things. So all of that is done by the asset management team. So we have these 3 teams just making sure we looked after. And then on top of that, we have this, I call it associates, the architect, the structural engineer, my broker, my league, the solicitor, making sure they all are doing their jobs with my own team as well. So it's the internal and external team working together, almost like a sausage factory, just and it's going well. And the power, I call them, they are my power team. I appear in podcasts and I get interviewed and things like that, but the real work is done behind the scenes, and I take the credit. But they are there.
Yeah, the team is what gets it done. That's for sure. So real quick, we are running down the time, but before we move on, I always like to talk numbers. What are you renting each unit at?
So we buy for the houses, we bought for $500,000.
Okay.
And then we spend around 150 to 200k pounds, and then the NGDV is around 800,000, 750 to 800,000 is the
Okay.
and then we get 75% mortgage on that 800,000. So that is enough for us to take the money out and go again and again.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that what your question was?
Well, that would be my second question. My original question was, what do you rent? What are the students paying in rent?
Oh, sorry, the rent. Yeah, so ours is a bit because we are very premium. So usually those rooms you rent out for 600 to 700 pounds per month. Ours is minimum 900. So we rent out from 900 to 1,000 pounds per month.
Okay, I mean that's still, if you're going out there and renting a full apartment or renting a full house, that's much lower than that rent. So it still fits the need. It's still, you're a student, you don't have money. 900, I don't know what the conversion rate is, but 900 pounds seems like around
I would say $1,200.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, but this is not London price. We are in Guildford, but it's not. If it's in London, you're talking about probably almost $2,000.
Too much.
Yeah, too much.
Makes sense. All right, man. Well, that wraps it up. We have to go on to the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. Starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a book you've read, a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you've been a part of. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate. Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
Or can I just share my experience, or without?
So what we're looking for is a recommendation that you can give, an educational recommendation that you can give the listeners for one, general life wisdom, 2, real estate or business.
Okay. I mean, definitely the Rich Dad show. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of that because I listen to that because it really changes your perception about finance and financial education. So definitely that one. Then when it comes to real estate, I have to select one in the UK. I'm sorry, but there's a guy called Samuel Leeds.
Okay.
He does a lot of podcasts and YouTube shows, which is sometimes controversial, but sometimes it's great. That's how I started my education, by listening to him and watching his YouTube videos.
Yeah. Podcasts are a great way to just get a basic foundational understanding of different assets, of how real estate works. And I feel like, mostly in most democratic countries, real estate functions very similar. And so if you understand how it works in the UK, you understand how it works in the US, yada, yada. So, all right, moving us on to the next question. This is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Sree who was still in the sports world in Formula One. Go to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Well, one thing I would say is that, this definitely changed my perception about things, is not all debt is bad. So there is a good debt and bad debt.
Yes.
And, taking credit card for going to holidays or buying cars and things like that is bad debt. But good debt is where you actually raising finance to buy assets, and then they will generate cash flow for you, which is much higher than the interest you pay for that debt. And
good debt is leveraged that generates money for you. Absolutely. And I feel like that is the main message from Rich Dad Poor Dad is, you gotta the debt that you take on actually will be making money from you.
Absolutely. Because we grow up thinking every debt is bad. The society always taught us that debt is bad.
There's a big guy or a big influencer here called Dave Ramsey. I'm sure you might have heard of him. Yeah, he's really big about not taking on debt. I feel like his audience is a little bit different, but when I hear that, I'm like, you really should distinguish between the different types of debt you can be taking on, because there is good debt. Some debt is actually very helpful to you. So that's a good lesson to learn. I'm going to move us on to the next question. This is usually it's about the US, but you're over there in the UK. So I'm going to take it over to the UK. So what city in the UK are you most excited about investing in today?
Definitely not London, because London is matured. So I am looking at potentially going to north of the UK. So a place called Newcastle. That's my next investment target area, purely because Saudi invested in their football club, the soccer club in Newcastle. There's a lot of investment coming to the place, and I think that's the place for the next 10 years to grow.
All right. I love it. All right. Next question. You've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to ask it one more time, and you can kind of wrap it up in a bow. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
Definitely network and building relationships. And the personal brand is so important, because people buy from people. And if an agent wants to come and give you a deal, they need to trust you. So your reputation and your personal brand is so key for that.
Yeah. And that's always why I like to recommend everybody out there, if you have the inclination to start a podcast, it's a great way to build your personal brand, a great way to build authority. And it's also a lot easier once you get the ball rolling, once you get kind of the operations behind you worked out. All you do is sit down on a Friday and have a couple conversations with great people who know a lot about an asset class that you don't. And it really builds your personal brand. So I always like to recommend when you are trying to build that authority, that personal brand, get on podcasts, start your own podcast, anything like that.
I totally agree. I mean, instead of paying $30,000 for a mastermind or a guru, just start a podcast for £30 or whatever, just buy a simple mic and start interviewing people, and you can learn from them and grab their wisdom. So it's a free education for you and build your personal brand.
Absolutely. All right, next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal that we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, just about every deal, something is going to go wrong. And that's when we get to learn a lesson. So what was a deal that went a little bit sideways for you? And then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
So this was the initial, the early stages when I thought every deal is fantastic for me. And you look at the numbers and everything else, and you try to make it work, even when there is a chance that it won't work. So this was, first deal was really good. Second deal was good. The third deal, I think I became a bit, overconfident.
You can say it, cocky. You got overconfident.
I can use that word here, but there you go. Yeah, so I was a bit cocky, and then I thought, it's fine. I'll make it work. And I paid probably over by £20,000. Because I want that deal, because it's on the same street as the other two and everything else. And then obviously I also misjudged on the construction cost and everything else. So anyway, I ended up paying more than I should have paid. And then at the end, I couldn't get the GDV I want. So I ended up leaving some money, which is fine. Over the years, it will be fine. But I should have stick to my my numbers and discipline. So Warren Buffett always said that you don't have to be the smartest, but you just be the most disciplined. And I didn't do that. And that's my learning from that.
Yeah. And that lesson has been echoed, your episode 500 something, that has been echoed across so many different episodes on this podcast. People, investors, we really get excited, especially when we're just getting started. We get excited about deals, and then we start to fudge the numbers in our mind. We're like, oh, this doesn't matter that much. That doesn't matter that much. but never do that. Stick to your criteria to the T. Do never deviate from it. If the numbers don't work out, it just doesn't work out, and that's all there is to it. You can't do anything about that, and so you have to walk away. It's the hardest thing you're going to do, but you're going to regret it if you go forward with a deal that doesn't stick to your criteria. I've made that mistake myself. And so it's something that, you just don't want to learn the hard way. How about that? All right. And so that's the lesson learned. Let's go to the highlight reel. We all have those deals that kind of stand out in our mind. They're the stars, the ones that everything was just kind of aligned. And so we really enjoyed the deal, and we got had a good ROI at the end. What's a deal that kind of stands out in your mind as your highlight deal?
It has to be my first ever student apartment, because I didn't join any courses or anything. I just learned by doing it. And I did the calculate risk and everything else, but I stick to my numbers, everything, and I created my power team of architects. And I said to them, I'm going to do this with you guys. We have to do it together. And the numbers is relevant. I mean, it did work, but it's it's about doing the first deal. It's just that mindset, just I can do it. And that's the reason why I still love that deal. This is the best. I mean, there are some other amazing deals I've done in the last 24 months and more than that now. But I still love my first deal because not because of the numbers, because it helped me to build, give me that confidence and say you can do this.
Yeah, doing the deal that proves the model to you is so important. And it's always why I like to tell people listening, if you guys are out there, you haven't done a deal yet, just get the first one done. It doesn't have to be a home run. It just has to make a little bit of money, but it'll give you the confidence to get that ball rolling. You're 10 years down the line, you're going to be so thankful that you did. You just need that first deal to kind of prove the model to you. All right. And that leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you type my name, Sree Varma, on LinkedIn, maybe you can put on your show note. And they could ask me one or two advices. No selling, but any advices. I'm always here to advise people, to give some advices if I can. Anything to do with the properties, entrepreneurship, or business, I'm always here to help.
Perfect. I will put that link in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description, and in there you can find Shree's links. All right, man. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe, at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, all you got to do is leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.